twist my wrist. Cause like this, start with a track. Eyes on me, arching my back. Just like this, here for the night. Only burning, just keep watching. Cause like this, move from the back. Eyes on me, hey like that. Just like this, here for the night. Only burning, just keep.
Welcome back to another video. This one is the second episode of my Minecraft survival series. A couple things have happened. I built an enchanting room sort of thing. I had filmed a video doing so, but I've lost the file and cannot find it at all. So I'll have to make a video on how I built it, unfortunately, which is a painful. I was going to do it anyway, but you know, you get the point. I built a failed mob farm in hopes for XP to enchant, but I've done some basic enchanting on what I do have, and I was supposed to contain building the Enchanting Hut and the villager breeder, but it's only going to contain building the villager breeder at the moment, unless I decide to show how I did it in another world, which I might end up doing, I don't know yet. So I'm going to get the layout done, or the outline of what I'm going to do, and then each layer I build up, I'm going to show what I've done, and by the end we should have it all. All the materials that I'll be using are in this chest and this chest. The other two are just for other junk stuff that I might not need, but we'll come across that as we go. But this is the main stuff I'll be using to build my villager breeder for this world. So I'll get started and then I'll come back once I've got the outline done. Okay, so this is what I'm working with for the layout, or the outline of the build so far. We've got a 9, so in between the cobblestone here you've got 9 blocks, 7 blocks, 2 blocks, 11 blocks, 2 blocks, 7, 9, 7, 2, 11, 2 and 7. So it fits up nice and perfectly. Now I'm going to start working on building it up, and I'll see you once I've done that. Okay, so I've got the rough shape of it built so far. I've got the majority of the front porch done. I've just got to put some polished stone in a checkered pattern, as if it's like a chessboard, and then I've got to put some spruce logs in between all of the pillars of dark oak, and we'll keep going from there, and then I'll come back when I've got pretty much the full shape built out. I'll see you then. Okay, so now that I've got that all built up, what I'm going to do now is work on the front porch a bit more, and I'll get that fully built up, and then I will get back to you and move on to the next bit. So I'll see you then. Okay, so I've finished decorating the porch, well, you know, got that built. I've used lecterns around it and then spruce trapdoors on top. I've filled in this section and put in glass for like a main viewing point going out. I've put some doorways on either side, filled in the roof and lit up on the inside of that. I've started doing the general frame of the roof and how I want it to look, so I'll get that finished. My next goal is to finish the roof, and once I've done that, I'll come back and I'll do the interior of it. Yeah, so I'll get the roof done and then I'll be back. Okay, so I'll finish the roof and the exterior of the villager breeder. same on this side as well. And then up above in the roof section that I'm still sort of working on, I've also got to do something with this. Whether or not I split it into a couple different floors, I'm not sure yet, but I'll keep going through it all, get it all done with the interior, and then I'll figure out the roof section is also finished. Other than that, really finished. We're good to bring the villages in from the village over that way. Over towards where the water is. There's a village over there with villages. Because the villages that I had died, I presume due to not having any beds that they were linked to. I presume that's why, but I've got to go over there and do the tedious process of bringing them over into the village breeder. Yeah, so I'll get that done and then I'll get back to you. Alrighty, so I'm just going to go ahead and say it's finished because I can't be bothered to work on it anymore. Absolutely failed that clutch, but whatever. So it's finished to what I can be bothered to finish it to. I've put in a ladder that goes up to the top of this. I've got some fences, and it's the same on the other side. I've just got to make it spawn proof from the iron golems because it's a pain in the ass with them. But I filled it up with villages. I created a little pathway from the village over that way and brought 2 over, and then I brought 4 over, and then I've just been giving them carrots for them to multiply, and some potatoes as well. I've also done a bit of trading. I've got quite a little nice haul of emeralds from them after a few trades, which is good. Yeah, so okay, so because I can't find the video file at all for how I built the Enchanting Hut that I put in the world, I'll show you in my creative world for that it's the same seed that I'm using as the series, but I'll show you how I built it. It'll just be sped up for the most part, but I'll show you how I built it. These are the materials that you will need. Aside from the glass panes, I need way more than that than what I've got there. I've grabbed the complete wrong amount. You actually need 428. So each section where I've got the glass panes, which is just here on the corners, it is 28 of them, and I've done the wrong calculations by a mile. I've only done the one side. I need to have them at 4. So that one is not accurate, but everything else is pretty much accurate. The bookshelves mightn't be accurate, but aside from that, everything else is. And this is how you build it. So the way I wanted to build it was have it drop down as if it's sort of indented into the floor. So I've dropped it down a level, as you can see. And then I wanted to have a lot of lighting and some decent storage, as well as an area to disenchant, and as well as put books onto it, as well as actually store some lapis and non-enchanted books, and maybe some enchanted books if you wanted to. But I started off with a very simple, I think this area should be big enough. I just went, I think, 7. So the stairs are 5 blocks, and then plus the spruce log pillars makes it 7. And then I went think it was 3, and then on the 4th, 3 on the 4th it became the pillar, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 2, 3, we did the same thing, and on the 4th, 3, so that's the shape of the hut that you'll be building with. And what I then did was I went through it, dug it all out, and then started building up. So I'll start digging it out, and then what I'll do is fill it in with the spruce planks for the flooring, and then the stripped spruce logs, I'll fill them in. It's a bit of a weird way that I've done it, but I add some texture, well, not texture, some detail to make it look a little better. But I've got it in a very specific way that matches all the way throughout, where in reality I should have put it as I just scattered it out a bit to make it look a bit better than what I've got it there. But that works, it doesn't really matter. And then again, the flooring, you can change it to any sort of flooring you want it to when you do it, if you want to do it. But I'll dig it out and then put the base of the flooring in, so I'll get that done. Okay, so I've got the floor built in, and it gives you the rough shape of how it'll look. I didn't follow the exact plan with the stripped spruce logs, as you can tell. I've just sort of dumped a whole bunch in, trying to make it look somewhat good, but that plan didn't turn out exactly the way I wanted it to, but who cares? At the end of the day, half of it will be covered up, to be pretty much, and the other half, like, you only walk in from the sides, you don't really go around having a look. So the next thing is building it up. I think I went up 5 blocks, excluding the staircase. So on these ones, I went up 5, and then I just did that all the way around. So I'll get that done. So once I got that all fixed up how it is, I moved on to putting in the panes, the stairs, the barrel decorations on the outside, and the fences, the slabs, Can't remember exactly where. I think I put the slabs in this part here. And then, honestly, with the roof design part of it, I'm honestly thinking of changing it. So rather than having spruce on the corners and just meeting up, I have it so it's sort of like an outline. Sort of like, so I've got the spruce going, Jesus, sort of like that, and then you've got the inline to some standard of thing, but when it reaches to the top and I've got the slabs up here, it just doesn't look, the best. It makes it look somewhat cluttered in a way, like there's too much spruce. Yeah. So we'll get the barrels in. I put them on every pillar, making sure that they're facing upwards from the ground. So you can't see the door of the barrel. And then I just did that all the way around on each point, or on each pillar, to get a little bit of extra detail in there. And then from the pillars I came out with the fence, like so, and I did that on every side of it. Coming out one onto the grass pretty much at every sort of corner thing. And then once I did that, I started working on the roof to get the shape of the roof started, and so I could put in the panes properly. On the corners, I followed what I did with the fences, and I just went around with the fence, with it like so, and that all lines up with the fence, allowing the glass panes to just sit there nicely. So I'll do the base layer of the roof all the way around, and then I'll slowly move up to the next one, and eventually the inside is where it gets a little bit trickier, but then again, it's still relatively easy to do. So I'll get all the stairs done, all the roof done, and then we'll come back to fixing up the interior. So I'll get that done and then I'll come back. Okay, so I've got the roof finished and that's all done. The next thing is getting all of the glass panes onto each section, which is always a pain. No pun intended, in a way. But it's always a pain because the panes can never seem to go the way that I actually want them to go. Although that one actually worked, sort of. They always end up, coming out an extra block or not going in the correct spot that I want them to go into. And I can just never get it to work properly, but we'll see how we go with this one. And the paints can be any color that you want. Like you can have red, green, blue. You can even have the normal glass panes. I've just gone with black stained ones as it sort of fits the color scheme that I've got going on for this one. The color scheme is more of a darker side of the, it's more on the darker side, as you can tell. Using the deep slate tiled stairs and the spruce, I found that it just worked better when I first built it, which was actually that one there. That was the first one I built for it. I didn't get it perfect the first time, many trial and errors, but in the end I got there and got it to how I wanted it to look, which was good. So that's all this panes put up and everything. And it's the interior that gets a little bit tricky, in my opinion, when I was building it, purely because of the bookshelves and the lanterns and the chains, putting them up. Aside from that, being putting all the other decorations in, it was actually very easy. The good thing is you can just go straight to the middle, which is right here, first try. Just place the enchanting table down. That's the dead center of it. And you can just work around it if you wanted to, or you could even leave that to the last. With the lanterns that I've done, I've used 2 chains from the roof before putting the lantern on the outside of the bookshelves. On the inside, it's mainly just the lantern, apart from the middle, which is where I've used 2 chains as the last one, and then the lantern to make sure they're level. But I'll get the lanterns all put in, and then we'll go from there. The very middle top of the roof lantern, I've only used 1 chain, because it'd be sitting on the top bookshelf. But yeah, so I'll get all the lanterns in, and then we can work, and then I'll start building the bookshelf hut thing. So I'll get that done, and then I'll get back to you. Okay, so all the lanterns are in. I've put them at each post or each pillar of the spruce logs. I've gone 2 down, and then I've put the lantern, and I've done that all around. and then I've put in 2 chains in the lantern at each sort of corner of the stripped spruce log, and I've done that around as well. And then 1 chain and the lantern on this one. This one I've just done 2 slabs rather than a block, because I couldn't be bothered to pull out a spruce plank block, but you know, it is what it is. And then the way that I've built the hut is sort of in like a teepee shape sort of thing. I've come out 3 from the pillars, so like they line up, the start of it lines up with each pillar, and then I went up, I think I went up 3, yeah, I went up 3, so 3, and then I also came out 1 on each sort of pillar for the bookshelf, and then that one does not go there, to create sort of like a little hut itself sort of view, and I've done that on every side to give the starting effect of it, and to save the bookshelves, because you only get the books back when you break it, I put a temp block here, maybe. Can't actually remember how okay, so I've sort of outlined it with the bookshelves, but left the corner blank like that, and then just come in 1 on the corner to make it go like protrude inwards. And then I did that on the same pretty much all the way up. I always make sure that I've got a temp block in my inventory when I'm building, because I will no doubt end up needing one at some point. The temp block can be whatever you want. It could be glass if you feel like using glass, but it doesn't always have to be. It can be whatever you want. More temp blocks need to be placed as you're building this. We'll go up like that. By the time you're finished, it should come up to be at the point with a 1 block gap between the lantern and the top bookshelf. After building this one over here, I also realized that I could have put in some chiseled bookshelves, sort of like maybe in the corner instead of chests, and that way I can store books in it, or enchanted books, or whatever I wanted to put in there. And then I've come down 2 chains in the lantern, and then I've put lanterns on each corner to like that. Now with the next part, with the anvils, the signs, and the chests, as well as the grindstone, it can honestly go wherever you want to put it, because the inside will always end up, you know, looking the same if you build it exactly the same. You know, it'll always look something like this, and it's just personal preference based on which area you're most likely to walk in from. So if I was most likely to walk in from this side of it, I'd have the chest right there, anvils, more anvils, and then the disenchant and a crafting table. The crafting table is, sort of personal preference. If you had some leather and some paper and you wanted to craft more books, or you had the ingredients to craft more books, you could, there's a crafting table there for it. The signs, well, that's just a personal preference. I used cherry signs because that's what I had an abundance of, like easily can get to, purely because surrounding the little indent of this mountain is just cherry blossom trees that extend all over the mountain. Like, as you can see as I go up, is just cherry tree, cherry tree, cherry tree. And they're not bad to use per se, but at the end of the day, it's just preference. With the anvils, I sort of rotated them to have, some sticking out towards the chest and the other one sticking out towards the other anvils. Just like alternating the way that they stick out rather than just having them, all one way, to add a bit more sort of texture, if you want to put it that way. But yeah, that's how I built the enchanting table or enchanting hut for the survival series. And the good thing is, this is definitely a level 30 enchanting table because of how many bookshelves we used. Roughly, you're looking at about 86 bookshelves that we used in total. And for all the panes, way more than 28. You need to, multiply that by 4. Like the good thing is, in this area, if you use this seed, which I will have that in the description again, in the bigger village there, which is where I've built my my base in this series, there is plenty of sand around to get all the panes that you need, because I've used pretty much all the sand in this general area for my main base, the hut, and then the villager breeder, which I've just built. And I've got a chest for glass as well. So it's a pretty good sort of area to build if you wanted to build it in this general area rather than over in that area where the crosshair is, which is where you spawn. But yeah, this area is a good one. You've got an easy out to go explore rather than going up and over the mountain. And then roughly where the dripstone is over where the crosshair is, if you just dig straight out, straight through that cave, you'll pretty much come over to another village, which is good. But yeah, that's how I built the Enchanting Hut for my series. Very easy to build, sort of. You just gotta make sure you've got temporary blocks in your inventory at all times with, sort of builds where things can be delicate, such as glass and the bookshelves, so you don't actually have to use more materials than what you want to use, or what you're planning to use. So yeah, that's it. That's how I built it. But yeah, that's it for this one. I'll see you in the next one. I'm the real FGO Robbo, and it's been real. Peace out.